Hey everybody, and welcome to Consordini.com. You've been practicing your instrument for quite a while now and spent countless hours playing, so now the time has finally come to make your recording and share it with the world. Let's take a look at everything that you'll need to have to make this happen. First of all, we'll need a computer with a DAW installed. So a DAW is a digital audio workstation. It's a piece of software that allows you to record, edit, and process your audio. We will be using Reaper. Next up, we'll need an audio interface. I will be using Steinberg UR22 Mark II. So what an audio interface does, it takes your audio signal, turns it into digital data, and then communicates it to your computer. You can find many different types fitting any budget. Depending on what kind of instrument we'll be recording, electric or acoustic, we will record both and look at every scenario. You will need either a microphone, so this is a large diaphragm condenser microphone, and a XLR cable, which we will use to connect the microphone to our audio interface. Now, if we're recording an electric instrument, which has an instrument output, we will need a jack cable, which will connect our audio interface high Z input with the instrument. And the last but not least is the monitoring. We'll need headphones to listen back to what we're playing, because this can make or break a performance. Good monitoring is really essential. If you're interested in any of the gear that I'm using here, you can see all the links in the comment section. And of course, we'll need space for the recording. Space is essential when recording acoustic instruments. An overly treated room will make a violin sound dull and uninteresting, so we'll need to find a nice reflective room, such as a concert hall in your music school. If you're recording an electric instrument, the room doesn't really matter that much, because you can add reverb later in post-production. Okay, so let's take a look on how to install it and use the basic features. To download Reaper, please go to reaper.fm or follow the link under the video. And go to download Reaper and select the version that we need. So for me, I'm going with Mac OS X 64 bits. So let's download that. So now that we've installed Reaper, let's open it up and see what's inside. Now let's make sure that Reaper sees our audio interface. To do that, let's go to Reaper, Preferences, or we can use a key command, which is Command Comma, or for PC, it's Control Comma. Go to Audio, Device, and here where it says Audio Device, we need to find the name of our audio interface. So for me, that's Steinberg UR22 Mark II. Okay, so let's talk about latency for a bit. So latency is the delay between the initial signal that you're making and the signal you're hearing back from your headphones or monitors. Most of the modern audio interfaces, they allow direct monitoring. So that means that you'll be hearing yourself without any delay. And that's great. But if you want to use reverb or compression during recording, that means that you'll have to use software monitoring from your DAW. Let's take a look at the buffer. The smaller the buffer size, the less delay you will hear, but it also means that the computer will need more processing power. And it's okay if the session is brand new and you've just started, but if you have a lot of tracks with a lot of plugins on, your computer might fail to perform properly. And that means you'll have to increase the buffer size. As you do, the latency will increase as well. So in my opinion, everything between 512 samples is pretty tolerable, but you'll have to see for yourself and find the compromise in the particular session that you're in. But this is a new session and we don't have any tracks or plugins yet, so the processing power is all ours. So we'll select 64 and click apply. And OK. Right, we'll need to make a new track. We go to track, insert new track, or press Command T or Control T for PC. So now we have a new and clean track. Now all we have to do is make sure that it knows where the audio will be coming from. So here it says UR Mark II input 1, and this is exactly when I'm going to plug in the microphone. Let's select that. You might have something different written here. Now we need to record the track so it knows that the signal will be coming here. And last but not least is the monitoring. We need to click it on. Okay, record monitoring on. If you're using direct monitoring from your audio interface, you might want to switch software monitoring off to avoid any latency at all. So, now it's finally time to start the recording. First of all, let's connect the headphones so we can monitor ourselves. Let's connect them to the phone output and set a comfortable level here. Now let's use our jack cable to connect the electric violin. We'll use input 2 and we'll use a high Z option for that. The other end will go directly into the violin's instrument output. Okay, so we're finally ready to make the first recording. Here with me I have Inta, the recording artist today, and let's begin. We're all ready. And I'm pressing Command R to start the recording, and here we go. Okay, great take. Pressing space to stop the recording, and here, save all. Now let's talk about comp takes. Comp takes is a very useful tool for a recording artist making the recording all by himself, with no one to press stop or record. So essentially, what it means is we're gonna make a selection, like so. First 18 bars. And the selection is going to go in a loop. And once first take is done, the second take is going to start. Okay, until we switch it off. So first of all, I'm going to make a new track, record arm it. Make sure that the input is right, input 2. I'm going to press record monitoring on. And I'm going to mute the previous recording we have. Okay, so now when I press record, everything is going to go in a loop. You ready? Okay, let's begin. So Command R to start the recording. Okay, great. So let's save our work. All right, and now we can see here all the recordings that we made. And if we press Command L, we can toggle between comp mode and just the track mode. Okay, so here we see take number 1 and take number 2. And we'll take a look in the next video at how to combine the best parts of every track. Okay, so now it's time to record the acoustic violin. And this is the tricky part. Right, so first of all, we will need our large diaphragm condenser microphone. And in order for that to work, I'm gonna switch on my phantom power. In my case, it's located on the back of the audio interface, so I'm switching it on. And the light saying plus 48 volts is also on. I've connected the microphone into input 1 of my audio interface with an XLR cable. So now everything is nice and ready to record. So as soon as we start playing, I'm gonna adjust the gain so that the levels here will be between -18 and -12 dB on the scale here. If you want to have a more developed sound combined with the richness of the reflections coming off the walls, the ceiling and the floors, you should try putting the microphone a little bit further away from the violin. Let's try this approach now. I'm raising the microphone as high as I can above the violin, and let's adjust it here. This way, I'm not only gonna get the direct sound from the violin, I'm also getting a reflected sound off the walls and the ceiling. Okay, so as soon as we start playing, I'm gonna adjust the gain, and let us do a take just to check it out. Okay, let's go. Okay, great job. Now that we have a great performance, we need a backing track for it to sound more interesting. In order to do that, we're gonna keep this recording playing, and we will make a new track and record another part on top of what we already recorded. So let's do that. Again, Command T to make a new track, record Amit. We won't mute the previous track as we did before, and now we're ready to do that. Okay, so let's record. We're gonna use a close miking technique to do that as well. Right, so let us... Okay, so far we have recorded several tracks. One is our main track here, and we've also done a couple of takes of backing tracks. So if we press Command L, we can see that there are several takes from which we can choose. So I think that the second track was okay, but there might be something in the end that we might want to keep from the first track. So how do I combine them together? First of all, I want to make a slice. I want to switch the grid off by pressing Option G, putting the playhead somewhere. Let's zoom in here. I'll put a playhead somewhere here and press S to make a slice. Now when I press on the active comp I want to keep, and I'll press on the other one, press Command L, and they will be glued together. So now I can use this fade tool that appears to make crossface between them, and move the slicing point as well. So let's hear what it sounds all together. And let me move it a little bit to get more of the recording from the first one. We'll just have the end from the last one. Okay, so this sounds kind of dry, and I want it to sound more alive, so I'm gonna add some reverb to both of them. I'll start with the pizzicato track. We go to Effects window and go to Caucus, and these plugins come in a bundle with Reaper already, so they're ready to go. Let's choose Reverberate, press OK. I have chosen a preset, and it sounds amazing. A really big, wide room. Okay, I'll just bring down the wet signal a little bit so it doesn't reverberate that much, but it's really pretty now. Okay, I love that. Now let's put some reverb on the main track as well. We'll press FX, Caucus as well, and we'll use Reverb plugin instead of Reverberate and see how that goes. There are a couple of presets here as well. Let's solo the track and see how it sounds. I'll bring down the wet signal. Really nice. Let's see how they sound all together. That's some beautiful reverb. Okay, so as we're done with the arrangement and choosing the takes, I think it is time to add some virtual drums now. Let's bring the grid back by pressing Option G. And now we need to make a new track. We go to Track and choose Insert Virtual Instrument on a new track. Now we'll just, in our instruments, we'll find the instrument that we're looking for. In this case, I'm going with a TX16 freeware sampler and choose that. Hit no. So essentially this is a sampler that you can download for free, and how you use it, you just drag a sample from your hard drive directly onto the notes of this instrument, and when you click on it, it sounds. You can also use your computer keyboard as a MIDI controller by clicking Option B. You got a virtual MIDI keyboard appears, and as we click on the notes, the sound will be played. Okay, so let's just switch that off for a while. I have already prepared a small preset for this particular recording. Here we go, drums, and here I have a kick drum, a snare drum, and a hi-hat. That's all we need for a simple arrangement. And here we go. So I've made a selection, and now I'm gonna go insert new MIDI item, double click that, and here I have a new MIDI region in which I will find my sampled sounds, and let me just put my instruments down. Okay, I have a simple pattern here. So let's see how it sounds. Right, I'm quite happy with that, so I can just copy it over to the whole arrangement. Here we go. Let's listen to what we have. Okay, great. I'm really happy with the mix and the arrangement that we've got here, and I'm ready to render the file, creating a stereo file which we can then share with our family and friends. Okay, so to do that, we will make a selection from the start till the end, go File, Render, choose a name for the file, choose the place where the file will be rendered to, and go Render One File. And here we go, our first recording completed. The last thing to do is saving the session, in case we want to come back to it and work and add to it later. We go File, Save Project As, select a project name, like Violin recording, select where it will be stored, hit Save, and all the media that was used in the project will be safely stored inside the folder. Hit Save, and we're done. Thank you for watching. I hope those videos were very useful. Let's recap. So we've looked at the gear that is used to make a first recording, looked at the DAW Reaper, which is used to capture the recording, and we also used at the ways to add effects and virtual instruments to our arrangements. Then we exported our file into a stereo that we can share with the world. Please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for our next videos. Thank you.